the second edition of the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace. This is the second edition that the University of Health and Allied Sciences hosting such an event under the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine. Today's discussion is on the theme Sports and Exercise for Economic Growth, Recreation, and Healthy Nation. Together with Dr. Helena Inti, we will be your moderators for today's event. To begin with, we will have an opening prayer by Dr. Divine Eli Kofi.
Good morning. Shall we humbly be on our feet as we pray? Please shall we close our eyes and pray. Our Heavenly Father, we are grateful unto you for this morning. We thank you for the gift of life granted unto each and every one of us. The journey message to this place. We'll pray and ask that even as we have this program, your Holy Spirit to take absolute control in Jesus' name. We want your presence to be felt here. Let everything that will be to your glory, will do here be to your glory. Let everything go successfully so that when all is said and done, we shall say of a truth, the Lord has been with us. We have shared knowledge, we have been impacted, and we are blessed. We thank you, Lord, for in Jesus' name we have prayed. The people of God say amen.
Thank you very much. At this juncture, we welcome the Dean of the school, Professor Sokode-Lokoe, for his welcome address.
The Vice Chancellor, the Regional Minister, Pro-Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, Deans and Directors, lecturers, distinguished guests, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome you all to this special occasion as we celebrate the International Day of Sports for Development and Peace. Today, we join a global community in recognizing the extraordinary power of sports, not merely as competition or recreation, but as a unifying force that transcends borders, cultures, and differences. This year's theme, Sports and Exercise for Economic Growth, Recreation, and a Healthy Nation, reflects our commitment to using sports as a tool to foster unity, empower youth, and promote mental well-being across communities in Ghana. All over the world, this day is celebrated on the 6th of April. We are, however, celebrating it on the 9th because the 6th of April fell on an Easter holiday. So it was impossible to celebrate it on that day. The School of Sports and Exercise Medicine has deliberately taken it upon itself this unique day to share the contribution and impact of sports to the sports ecosystem. The initiator of this idea, a Ghanaian, of course, and our very own, His Excellency Kofi Annan, has been able to champion this effort for many years. However, his legacy seems to be forgotten. It is therefore a step in the right direction to honor the former UN Secretary General, His Excellency Kofi Annan, while contributing our quota within the sports ecosystem as an academic institution. I think we deserve a thunderous clap for this. As an academic community, we have a unique responsibility. We must continue to promote not only excellence in education, but also holistic development. Supporting sports and physical activity within our institution is part of our commitment to nurturing well-rounded individuals who can contribute positively to society. Today's celebration is a cocktail of events for SEM, as we have some few surprises up our sleeves. I entreat you to stay tuned. I also encourage all of you to take part in today's activities with enthusiasm and an open mind. Let us celebrate not just the joy of sports, but its potential to transform lives and communities. On behalf of the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine, I warmly welcome you once again and wish you a meaningful and inspiring International Day of Sports for Development and Peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Dean, for your welcome address. And indeed, to re-echo the contribution of our very own Kofi Annan is remarkable. So last year, in our maiden edition, this was really iterated with the support of the University of Health and Allied Sciences. Mentioning UHAS, permit me to welcome our mother, the Vice Chancellor for the University of Health and Allied Sciences, Professor Lydia Aziato, for her welcome for opening remarks.
Thank you very much. A warm welcome to all of us, and good morning. Oh, please, good morning. Now I can feel that I have audience. Today is another, shall I say, historic day for the university and for the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine. Dean, where are your students? How many students do you have in total? The number is 135. My dear students, where are your colleagues? They are on their way. But we said 9 o'clock, and it's 9:30 something. So if next year you want me here, then you have to be present yourselves. I'm not very happy about the number of students here present. The program is for your school, so you have to be here in your numbers. All right. I'm not here to talk about the theme of the program for today, Sports and Exercise for Economic Growth, Recreation, and a Healthy Nation. But I'm here to talk about my own thoughts. My own thoughts is about my School of Sports and Exercise Medicine. This is the only university with this program. Correct me if I'm wrong. The only university with this program, Sports and Exercise Medicine. The others are not medicine. Ours is medicine. And so parents will call and ask, we see, this program, what is it about? It's about training unique health professionals with the skills and knowledge to deliver service for individuals who are healthy or who have some challenges or who work within the sports environment. I mean that myself, I'm not a sportswoman, but a graduate from this program can assess me, diagnose and prescribe an exercise regime that can keep me healthy So that is why I said they provide services for those who are healthy, for those who are not even sportsmen and women. They can also assess me to find out what I can eat to stay healthy, how my mental state is regarding how I can perform better to optimize my life. So we have several areas that the sports and exercise medicine graduates can work or can perform. So we are not training PE teachers, no. We are training health professionals. Most importantly are these individuals who can provide immediate intervention on the area of sports. So, for example, when there is any injury, when there is any emergency, these people are able to intervene. So today, I want to use this medium to say, if you are interested in such a skill, this is for you. One of our alumni, our alumnus, is within this space internationally. And therefore, my dear students, if you want to do well in the area of sports, you need to learn other languages so you can be on the international scene and discharge your duties better. And so I am waiting for the regional minister. He's on his way. Plans are far advanced for the region to have a sports stadium at the university campus. I'm sure when the regional minister comes, he will say more about this. Plans are far advanced. And so I'm looking forward for this thing to happen as soon as possible so our students can have more practical opportunities. Any single sporting event on our field, our students will be there to have experiential learning opportunities. But at the current state of the school, we are seeking support for resources. We don't have the school built yet. They are in incubating facilities. And so we need a state-of-the-art laboratory for the students to learn their skills. Because this is being streamed live, I don't know who is listening to me, but I'm calling on people with that love for sports. We need the professionals trained to provide a service. So we need a laboratory that they have the gadgets to assess the human, to prescribe the needed exercise. We need the laboratory, not just a gym, but a laboratory that is high performance laboratory with the needed instruments and equipment for the students to learn. Again, the school, when you have a school of sports and exercise medicine, and you have the students taking part in major national and international events, it boosts their morale to a great extent. So we are looking for scholarship or sponsorship opportunities for our students to have experiential learning locally and internationally. Now, whether we like it or not, once somebody does anything sports or exercise, the person's life improves. I wouldn't say much, but I can say that you become more active, your mental state is more sharp. Because you are happy, relationships improve. You become more beautiful also, I'm sure, because Akamaze is here. Joy, are you there? One of my ladies' sports faculty, she's very cute, very active, very, I wouldn't add more. But I want to say that we are happy the school has taken this initiative to celebrate International Day of Sports Development and Peace. And the university fully support this agenda as an annual event. But I wish that, yes, my regional minister is here. Our regional minister is here. So immediately after this speaking, the regional minister is supposed to come in because he has other commitments. Regional minister, I was just saying that when you come, you tell us that very soon we are going to have a sports stadium at the university. Yeah. Oh, give him a hand. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. Okay. So, my dear minister, I was saying that we need the field experience for our students. And we are very excited for this agenda that you are pushing for the university to have a sports stadium. It will provide the students with real-life experiences so that every event on the field, the students will be there to provide services for what they have learned in the classroom. So we are anxiously waiting for the sword cutting ceremony for this stadium. And we thank you in advance for your vision for the university. So before I leave the podium, I want to congratulate the organizers, welcome the speakers, and we want to say that we appreciate you. And we are waiting for the students to come in their numbers. But because it's going to be streamed live, it's going to be online, and those of us who will miss it will watch you and learn from you. So thank you very much for agreeing to come. But also before I leave, Honorable Minister, you know, this university is the only one running the sports and exercise medicine program. The health professionals that we are training, they are not just sportsmen and women. They are trained with healthcare skills to provide healthcare services for those who are healthy and for those who are in the sports space, okay? So they are not physiotherapists, they are not doctors, but they have the skill set to provide the services that are needed for men and women to have a healthy life, okay? So we want to say that we need your support for the school to grow. And we are looking forward to partner with you so that at the end, we'll have a very robust and very fast-growing school. We have over 35 students in the program, and we are looking forward to a school that has more than necessary students to serve the needs of the nation. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Prof. VC, for that warm remarks. At this juncture, we would invite the guest speaker to give us a keynote address. And permit me to share, during his Meet the Press for the first time in the Volta region, I was there, and the minister shared on how he wanted to use sport to develop the Volta region. And I was so passionate about it. So I think this is a right forum for us to hear from him, his agenda, and how we can work together. Permit me to welcome Honorable James Gunu, the guest speaker, to give his keynote address.
Distinguished guests, the indefatigable Vice Chancellor and faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from His Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, and the Volta Regional Coordinating Council. I am pleased to join you today as we mark the International Day of Sports for Development and Peace. I commend the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine of the University of Health and Allied Sciences for bringing us together under the important theme, Sports and Exercise for Economic Growth, Recreation, and Healthy Nation. This conversation is timely. Sports today is not just about competition. It is about opportunities. It creates jobs, improve health, strengthen communities, and contribute to economic growth. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, government's development direction under His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama places strong emphasis on inclusive growth and youth empowerment. The 24-hour economic policy presents a unique opportunity for the sports sector. From fitness centers and recreational parks to organized sporting events, there is real opportunity to create sustainable jobs whilst promoting healthy living. We are also seeing opportunities through youth-focused employment and skill programs that can support careers in coaching, fitness and sport management, increase attention to preventive health care where exercise plays a key role, partnership with the private sector to expand sport and recreational infrastructure. Distinguished participants, as a region, we are committed to supporting initiatives that promote active lifestyles, especially among the youth. We will continue to encourage schools and community sports whilst working with institutions like UHAS to align sport with health and economic development. To the students, there is a future here for you not to only on the field, but in science, health, business, and innovations within the sports space here in Ghana. I urge you to take advantage of these opportunities. Government's immediate plans for the Volta region are to build multi-purpose facilities for promotion of schools and grassroots sports. 2, develop and construct a FIFA Category 2 stadium. And I heard the Vice Chancellor talking about this when we were looking for land for this edifice. We faced a little challenge. And I called her and says, oh, if you are looking for 30 acres of land, you can get it. Unfortunately, there was some process that started. And when we did the search, we have 100 acres of land also sitting very close. So we are doing the consultation, and I believe that within the next 2 weeks, we will conclude on this matter, and we will have a befitting FIFA Category 2 stadium to assist your work. We also want to identify and nurture talent through schools and grassroots sports secretariats. And we are also looking at promoting lesser known sports like the beach soccer and recently discovered water volleyball. And these are not just sporting events, they are also going to be the brand of the Volta region, because you cannot find this anywhere. And as the only oxygen city of Ghana, we are determined to ensure that at least we keep the region clean and green. In conclusion, let us see sports not just as activity, but as a tool for transformation, one that can drive growth, improve well-being, and unite our people. I thank you for the invitation, and I wish you a fruitful deliberation. Akpenami, miawe, zo miawe, edom. Thank you very much once again, Vice Chancellor.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Regional Minister. Because of his schedule, we would have a photo with him, and then we can continue. Yes. I think we'll take the photo on the podium here. So photographers, kindly direct us. We'll take. Can we position this one? Yes, please. Thank you very much. Before the minister leaves us, I'm told we have a citation for him. And so, Honorable, yes, please. Honorable, before you leave us, we have a citation for you being presented from the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine for your unwavering contribution to sport within the region. Are you going to read? So, permit me to read a citation in honor of Honorable James Gunu in recognition of your outstanding leadership and unwavering support for education and community development. Your commitment to the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine and its activities, sports and peace, has greatly contributed to advancing academic excellence and strengthening community engagement within the region. We deeply appreciate your dedication and impactful service. We look forward to more collaboration with you and your office and to advance peace, sports, and sustainable development within and beyond the region. Thank you very much.
Prof, I've referred your letter to the DRIP coordinator to do the clearing and the leveling of for the sports field. Yeah, so that will be done. And I want to thank you very much for the honor, and we shall collaborate together to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. At this juncture, I will invite our second mother in the school or in the university, Ms. Ya Amankwa Opuni, the Registrar for the University of Health and Allied Sciences. Our registrar will be talking about the position of sport within the university. Sir, you're welcome. Thank you.
Your mother has changed to your father, briefly. So I'm representing the registrar of the university. The regional minister, Honorable James Gunu, the vice chancellor, dean of the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine, deans and directors, faculty and staff, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. The theme for today's program is Sports and Exercise for Economic Growth, Recreation, and a Healthy Nation. And I am to highlight the university's position on sports development. The University of Health and Allied Sciences proudly affirms its strong commitment to the role of sports and exercise as an indispensable pillar for national development, economic growth, recreation, and the promotion of a healthy society. As a health-focused institution, UHAS recognizes that sports is not merely a competitive activity, but a strategic tool for human capital development, disease prevention, social cohesion, and national productivity. Sports and exercise remain central to the university's vision of training competent professionals who appreciate the link between physical activity, wellness, and national transformation. In line with our mandate of advancing health through education, research, patient care, and community service, UHAS positions sports as a catalyst for development in 4 critical areas: economic growth, recreation, nation building through health promotion, and development for social transformation. Honorable Minister, permit me to elaborate on these 4 critical areas. 1, sports for economic growth. UHAS believes that sports has enormous economic potential for institutions and nations alike. The sports industry creates employment opportunities for coaches, trainers, sports scientists, physiotherapists, event managers, nutritionists, medical officers, facility managers, and entrepreneurs in fitness and wellness services. Through the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine, the university is strategically contributing to the preparation of skilled professionals who can drive this growing sector. The university further recognizes that sporting events stimulate local economies through transportation, hospitality, tourism, merchandising, media coverage, and allied services. By investing in sports education, research, and innovation, UHAS is helping to build a knowledge-based sports economy that can contribute meaningfully to Ghana's socioeconomic growth. The second pillar, sports and exercise for recreation. The university strongly supports sports as an essential avenue for recreation, stress management, and mental well-being. In today's demanding academic and professional environment, recreational sports serves as a healthy outlet for students, staff, and the wider community. UHAS therefore promotes regular participation in structured and non-structured physical activities, including inter-school or interdepartmental games, keep fit sessions, wellness walks, aerobics, and competitive sports. These initiatives improve social interaction, strengthen teamwork, and foster institutional unity while enhancing academic performance and work efficiency. Recreation through sports also contribute to improved mental health by reducing anxiety, stress, and lifestyle-related fatigue. This aligns directly with the university's broader objective of holistic welfare, wellness for all. The third critical area is sports for a healthy nation. As a premier health institution, UHAS upholds the view that sports and exercise are essential preventive medicine tools for creating a healthy nation. Regular physical activity reduces the burden of non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular diseases, and some forms of cancer. The university's position is that the promotion of physical activity must be mainstreamed into public health policy, education, and community engagement. Through research and advocacy, UHAS continues to champion evidence-based exercise interventions that support healthy lifestyles across all age groups. The School of Sports and Exercise Medicine is therefore a critical institutional response to the national need for professionals who can prescribe exercise, manage sports injuries, enhance performance, and contribute to the rehabilitation and preventive health care. The last critical area is sports for development and social transformation. Honorable Minister, UHAS sees sports as a unifying force that promotes discipline, leadership, inclusion, gender equity, and peace. Sports goes beyond cultural, social, and economic boundaries, making it a powerful tool for youth empowerment and national integration. The university is committed to using sports as a medium for character formation and leadership development among students. Participation in sports instills values such as fairness, resilience, dedication, respect, and excellence, qualities that are essential for national development. In conclusion, Mr. Minister, the University of Health and Allied Sciences remains committed to supporting sports and exercise as a powerful tool for economic growth, recreation, and building a healthy nation. UHAS will continue investing in sports education, sports medicine, research, infrastructure, and community partnerships that position sports as a key driver of a sustainable development. As Registrar, I wish to reaffirm the university's commitment to policies and programs that harness the full benefit of sports for development. Together, through knowledge, innovation, and active participation, we can build a stronger, healthier, and more productive nation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Rep from the Registrar's Office, for that goodwill message. Kindly permit me to introduce some dignitaries among us. We have in our midst Professor Paul Amuna. Prof, you are welcome. We also have in our midst Mr. Delak Beve. Please, is that name correct? Beve. Please, you are welcome. We also have in our midst Mr. Ernest Danso. Sir, you are welcome. I'll talk briefly about him later on. We also have in our midst Mr. Hubert Mauvi Yewo Agbe, the head of admin for quality assurance and also rep for the director of quality assurance. Sir, you're welcome. We have Mr. Alfred Kuma, who is also here with us, head of IT infrastructure, and also a rep for the director of ICT. Sir, you are welcome. We also have in our midst Dr. Joy Akamize. Doc, you are welcome. Some media stations or media outlets that are with us, Ghana News Agency, we are grateful for your coming. GBC as well, Graphic, and also Joy News. Not forgetting of our sponsors. We are very grateful to you, the AGI Association, the Association of Ghana Industries. Thank you very much. Republic Bank, Best Hands Therapy Clinic. Also to Salaria Ahmed, we are grateful to you, and Funkel. At this juncture, we'll call on Miss Irene Enyonam-Kwe to share with us a presentation on funding and security in sports. Do we have Madame in our midst? She is the branch manager for Republic Bank, our sponsor. Thank you very much.
I wasn't here on time, so I don't know if there is an existing protocol yet. Our First Lady is not seated. Can I go ahead? Mr. Registrar? Okay. All right. So, when we invest in sports and physical activity, we are not just building strong bodies. We are building strong economies and strong nations. I'll take that again. When we invest in sports and physical activity, we are not just building strong bodies, but we are building strong economy and strong nations. So, Madam Vice Chancellor, members of University Management, the Dean, the Registrar, distinguished faculties who are present here, my dear students, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a real pleasure to be here at the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine to celebrate the International Day of Sports for Development and Peace. We were here last year. I missed the program because I had to go to Accra. But our Chief Executive Officer for Republic Investment, I pulled him all the way here to talk to you about investment planning in sports. How many of you were here last year? I hope you remember. It was exciting, I heard. All right. Today is all about sports. I'm not going to talk so much about money. Come and open accounts. I promise you, it's all about what? It's all about? All right. But the most important thing is about your future. Whatever I'm going to discuss here, most of you here is about your future. Pardon me, I'm going to address most of the students, our protocol members. They are the reason why we are here, right? Okay, so my topic for you today is funding and security in sports for development and peace. And I want to speak to you honestly and practically as young people preparing for careers in sport and health exercise. So I have a few slides for you here. Can we go to the next page? Okay, I want to find out why funding matters in sports. Why is it necessary? I heard the Honorable Minister talk about bringing in a FIFA something, or the sports stadium. Can we do it without money? Can we do it without money? So you can tell that funding is really important in sports. The same reason why education is also important and money is important in investing in your education. So we have to be real here. Passion alone cannot run sports programs. So the fact that you are the best runner does not mean we can have this program. We need money. That is why we have to appreciate. Let's give a hand of applause to the sponsors for this program. Because without money, we all cannot be seated here. Now, sports development needs money to train coaches and sports medicine professional. Now, as you sit here, you have lecturers. Imagine if the government of the day decide that we are no more going to finance you as lecturers. Who is going to train you for the future? Hello? Are you with me? All right. The buying of equipment. Now, last year when we came, Dean spoke about there was this room he took us to, some gym room. Oh, manager, we will need this, we will need that. Yes, we are here for you. Because Republic Bank, we are the one for you. So the conversation is going to start. Once you've also shown your commitment to the bank and inviting us for the second year ongoing, this is going to be a lasting relationship. So the equipment that you need, we always do a lot of social corporate responsibility. Mr. Registrar, we can also pre-finance it for you at a good rate. And long-term repayment is also allowed. All right. Then we need to run community outreach. I remember last year, the School of Pharmacy, forgive me if I don't get your schools right, they came that they want to go and do a malaria test outreach somewhere and all that. It also needs what? Money. So SEM, if you want to organize something like that and make your school popular, you need money to fund that. That is why you have dues you pay, right? For those of you who have not been paying your dues, today I'm taking everything, right? Okay. And then we have to support research, rehabilitation, and innovation. The innovation is about the multi-purpose stadium that Honorable spoke about. It's all about what? Money. And please, you might be here today. Your child may be here next time. So you need to set the pace. Even if you don't enjoy these innovations or facilities, you should have it at heart and think about the future. Someone thought of you. That is why this school was built. The thought of building this school, I'm sure some of you were not even born yet. But by the grace of God, you are here and the future is bright. Do you understand me? Now, the next one. Without proper funding, even the best ideas struggle to survive. With good funding, sports can create jobs, improve health, and bring peace to what? Communities. That is why banks see sports as more than entertainment. We are not here for entertainment, right? But we have supported because sports is an important part or an aspect in the communities we find ourselves and as an industry. Now we'll move to the next one. What do we mean by security in sports? So when we say security, we are talking about more than just safety on the field. Do you agree with me? All right. So then, security also means what happens to you if you get injured. As young sports people, you need to start investing in your life. How do you do that? There are insurance policies you can get onto. I hope you are aware to protect yourself. Now, how do you sustain yourself financially? These are questions for you that I know. It is not for the ghosts. The questions are for you that you need to ponder over. Later, when you lie down in your house, in your home, you said, oh, what does this lady say? What am I doing? Then you can assess yourself. How do you plan life after school? Have you ever thought of it? After here, what's next? Are you going to be part of Ghana's athletics team? If you are seated here and you don't have that goal, then you have a problem. I'm sorry. You should find your specialty by now and know that in future, this is what I'm using to secure the funding my parents have paid for me to come to school. Hello? All right. How do you prepare for emergencies? Have you thought of that? Let me see how many of you have contingency plan, plan B. Hello, where are the plan B people? Oh, this is so sad. Plan B.
Engagement. Let's give it up for her. Thank you. So, still leveraging on presentation, the school has a presentation for us, and that will be led by Dr. Samuel Kofi Donko to share insight on the theme for today. So, let's kindly give some. Okay, is it ready? All right. So I'm told it's ready. So, Doc.
Yes, my HOD said we've been sitting for long, so we should do some small exercise. So please, even as you sit down, you listen to this instruction. You sit down and listen to this instruction. I know. Thank you very much. So it is not projecting, but you just have to listen to me attentively. So this presentation is by SEM faculty, and I am representing all the faculty of SEM. Let me acknowledge the fact that these PowerPoints were put together by Dr. Eli Kofi. So thank you, Doc, for putting together these PowerPoints. And I am presenting on behalf of SEM. The outline for this presentation will touch on exploring adapted sports, objectives of adapted sports, barriers to sports participation, nutrition for health and development. Then we'll look at the nexus, the integration of sports and nutrition. What is adapted sports or adapted physical activity? When we talk about adapted sports or adapted physical activity, it can also be adapted exercise. Here we are saying that there are some elements of sports or elements of exercise or elements of physical activity that we need to modify, we need to change so that everybody will be able to participate in meaningful sports. You and I may be able-bodied persons, but it is not everyone who is able to participate in meaningful sports. So there is the need for us to modify or change certain elements of sports so that people living with disability can also participate in sports to derive all the benefits associated with what? Sports. And that is what adapted sports or adapted physical activity is all about. Now, when we do that, we are trying to make sports accessible to everyone. Accessibility of sports shouldn't be confined to you, shouldn't be confined to me, because you and I are able to walk, we are able to do things around. There is someone in the wheelchair. What about that person? Does it mean that that person will not get the benefit of participating in sports, the benefit of participating in physical activity? So we want to cater for everyone. And if we do that, it means that we are making sports accessible to all manner of human beings and not only the able-bodied persons like you and I. What are we insinuating? We are saying that everyone deserves the chance to participate in meaningful sport. Everyone. Despite the disabilities or whichever the condition that you have the chance to participate in meaningful sports. Because we know the link between sports and health. So if there is a direct link between sports and health, why should a certain category not be part of sports participation? And that is what we are insinuating. And this aligns well with International Day of Sports for Development and Peace. We need to identify these barriers and then suggest ways of resolving them, because, like I indicated, There are benefits associated with participation in sports. There are benefits associated with what? Participating in exercise. Everyone must be part of these benefits. What do we want to achieve if we adapt sports adaptation? What exactly do we want to achieve? Here, we want to promote health and independence. We want to improve quality of life. And we want to encourage social participation. And we want to foster inclusion in physical activity for all individuals, regardless of ability. Inclusion. Right now, this category of people living with disabilities, is like they are not having access to meaningful sports. And they are our clients. They will come to us. All of us belong to the health team. Therefore, we must remove these barriers that we are identifying so that everyone will be able to participate in meaningful sports. You are able to play football, someone is able to do the volleyball, netball, and others. But those people who are our clients, not all of them are able to participate in meaningful sports. And that is what we are insinuating. Now, what are the barriers to sports or exercise adaptation? One, limited awareness and understanding of adapted sports. Maybe too many of us, we have not heard much about adapted sports, but it exists. We said changing some elements of sports so that everyone will be able to participate in sports. That is what sports adaptation is. But if there is unawareness, then definitely there is a problem there. And then negative perceptions about abilities. And I will add stereotyping. You can do this person cannot do that. So because you think this person cannot do that, it is all about you reaping the benefit of participating in sports. Then we also have limited access to facilities and resources. Here I will also say that limited access to facilities and equipment, because equipment and facilities, when we talk about sports and exercise medicine, the two are not the same. Facilities are those things that we cannot move from place to place. Like a gym, like a field, these are facilities. Equipment we can move from place to place. So if there is a lack of access to these resources, then there is a gap. Then we are also looking at inadequate training of coaches and officials. How do we promote adapted sports or adapted exercise, adapted physical activity? If there is what? Inadequate training. You are not well trained. Someone is visually impaired, hearing impairment. All these categories of people. And anyone at all at any time can be what? Hearing impaired, visually impaired. Anything at all can happen to you at any time. And so, where are the coaches? There are no coaches. There are not officiating officials. So, if we don't have them, then we see this as a gap. Modifying activities to ensure participation. Now, there is an acronym that we call CRAMES. CRAMES. C-R-A-M-E-S, CRAMES. And so our adaptation is based on, please go back. Yes, these are the elements that we adapt in adapted sports and exercise. For them to be able to participate in meaningful sports or exercise, you need to adapt, you need to change some of these things. Your communication, because if the person cannot see, if the person cannot hear, do you continue to talk to that person? So you need to adapt. Once you begin to change certain elements, then you are in the realm of what? Sports adaptation. So communication method, rules of the game. Yes, they will tell you that in football we use the foot. What about if the person doesn't have it? So does it mean that the person will not participate? You adapt the rules. You adapt the rules. Then assistive device, as we can see in the picture, this person is using prosthetic leg. He's using prosthetic. So assistive device. If you cannot run the way you should, anything at all that will assist the person to participate in meaningful sports and exercise, you do that. Then we also have materials and equipment that you need to adapt. so that everyone will be able to participate in sports and exercise. Environment and setting. Yes, say football is played on the field and so hot. Football is played on the field and so hot. You must adapt. Even if it is a gym, in the house, backyard, wherever, you must adapt for everybody to participate in meaningful sports. You see, it's like we are talking about people living with disability, but let me tell you, assuming you have that slim body like mine and you cannot swim, at that time you are a disabled person. So we are talking about you, not only people living with disabilities. We have different categories. So it's about you and I, especially those of us who have studied somatology, the study of body types, somatology, the body types. I'll look at you and I'll tell you that you'll be able to participate in athletics. Okay? There is something that you cannot do. Once I realize that you cannot do it, I need to adapt sports for you. I need to change certain things for you to be able to participate. All of you here, I can give you a kind of sports that you'll be able to do. So everybody has an ability. It is because we do not know how to adapt. That is why many people are not able to participate. Say, yes, look at my body size. I cannot jump and spike. There is something you can do. I can lower the net for you. You jump and spike. And this is where sports adaptation comes in. All of us must participate in meaningful sports. Then we have the skill level expectations. You don't have to play like Ronaldo. You don't have to be like Messi. No. The skill level adaptation, that skill level that is expected of everyone, let us reduce it. So yes, and one day, don't be surprised when I take my own dean and we go out to play football, whichever way he's able to play. I am going to lower the skill level for him to participate in meaningful sports. And I believe I have given enough and adequate training to my students in this area. And you should be able to do that when you go out. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a convention that protects people living with disability. And that is Article 30 of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability. And it states, parties shall take appropriate measures to enable persons with disabilities to participate on an equal basis with others in recreational, leisure, and sporting activities. So there is a convention that is protecting their rights. Let us always make sports accessible to this category of people. Then we know the significance of nutrition when it comes to sports development. We are talking about sports development. If you take nutrition out, I don't see how the sports can develop. So there should be optimal nutrition in sports participation and exercise and physical activity participation. And here we are saying that for optimal nutrition is necessary for growth and development of athletes and non-athletes. It improves performance through adequate energy supply, injury prevention, improved recovery from injury. And there are key components of nutrition. Today we are looking at three main components of nutrition. We have the macronutrients, we have the micronutrients, and we have the hydration. All of them have their own benefits. Now we can begin to link macronutrients. If you take carbohydrate, we know it is for energy. So without it, how do you play sports? How do you participate in exercise or physical activity? So proteins, tissue, and muscle repair, fats are for what? Long-term energy source. And we have micronutrients. Vitamins and minerals, what do? They support body's metabolic functions and process. And hydration, what does it do? They replenish and electrolyte balance, fluid balance in the body. That is what they do. Now, nutrition for health and development. Access to optimal nutrition. What are the benefits? This reduces health inequalities among athletes and non-athletes. It also enhances sports participation by various groups. It supports general well-being of community. It reduces risk of eating disorders. It promotes lifelong healthy eating habits. Now, we want to see the integration of adapted sports and nutrition. How do we even promote this? How do we promote this? If we think that adapted sports is very relevant to us, if we think that nutrition is very relevant to sports participation, how do these two integrate and how do we promote? So by promoting it, we can look at school and community engagement. We can also partnership with what? NGOs, civil society organizations, sports clubs, academia, etc., and strategic research collaborations. There can also be policy support. If there is policy support, everyone will be able to participate in meaningful sports to derive all the benefits that we are talking about. Not only you, but people living with disability also need to derive these benefits. In conclusion, we are saying that the SEM that I represent is saying that sports is a powerful tool for development and peace, as we are all aware. And everyone has the right to participate in sports. We must ensure equitable conditions so everyone can succeed. We must ensure participation is adapted to individual needs, not uniformity, but equity. And we are saying that optimal nutrient intake strengthens impacts of sports and development and peace. Lastly, SEM faculty has asked me to call you to action. So I'm calling all of you to action by saying that let us all read this slide. The call to action, let us all read. If we can see, all of us, let us read the call to action. Read. On behalf of SEM, we ask you to do that. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Team SEM, for that wonderful presentation. I think this presentation echoes on inclusion, diversity, and equity, a rare area that we hardly talk about when we describe sports participation. We've gotten to a very crucial moment in our forum, and at this juncture, I would want to introduce a person to us. For the first time in the history of our school, we're going to have a representation, somebody who will be the eye of our school within the public domain, like the ambassador thing. Somebody who aligns with what we do and would want to carry us along. Who is this person? Permit me to give a brief background. This ambassador is a Ghanaian sports administrator and entrepreneur. He serves as the president of the Ghana Baseball and Softball Federation. He's also the third vice president of the Ghana Olympic Committee. Again, he's the chef de mission for the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games, leading the entourage at that global level. This is what he does in sport. Aside that, he has other things that he do. Permit me to introduce his business interest in the real estate, logistics, and interestingly, he's also a farmer. He is passionate about youth empowerment, mental health advocacy, like Dr. Kofi Donko just mentioned, and also he uses sport as a catalyst for economic growth and national development. A perfect fit for our team and our school. So on behalf of the Dean of the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine, permit me to introduce the ambassador for the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine. Unveiling who this personality is, will be joining us to is Professor Paul Amuna, Mr. Godfred Amoa, Mr. Alfred Kuma, together with the Dean of School of Sports and Exercise Medicine, who will be doing the unveiling. Thank you very much, the Indefatigable Cultural Group, for that resounding tone to welcome our ambassador. Prof, HR, Mr. Alfred, and the Dean of our school. Permit me to call on Mr. Ernest Danso. Thank you very much once again. So I'll hand over to Prof. Dean to share with us a few remarks on this unveiling exercise. Prof.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. At this juncture, I would like to add a few remarks. A brand ambassador is supposed to be someone very credible, very influential, very powerful, and very influencing. The Brand Ambassador Initiative, it's an initiative of the Dean. The person is supposed to be somebody who is credible. Like I said, his roles will be to increase the visibility, the credibility, as well as boost reputation of the school. This is to affect student enrollment, also inspire students, motivate students to work harder to reach such levels. The ambassador is supposed to create networking opportunities for future employment to aid us navigate through the sports space, to also help us acquire some more equipment which will help us train our students. He is also supposed to help us connect with very notable sporting personalities that will give us a shine or a better shine. A young and budding school as we are needs someone like this to help us. I, in my own term, will say or term it as a catalyst for development of the school. At this juncture, I'm elated, eager, enthusiastic, delighted, exhilarated, all the beautiful adjectives. Given all the credentials as emphasized by Dr. Frank Apiakusi, I am deeply convinced that Mr. Ernest Danso shall help us realize all these objectives outlined. I would like to present to my dear students and SEM, as well as the university community, Mr. Ernest Danso. Mr. Ernest Danso, please. The university community as well as your students. Thank you very much.
Do we know? All right. Please, AGI, kindly join us on the podium. Apologies. This connection came through the Association of Ghana Industries, and so they would also join us in doing the unveiling.
It is a beginning.
Hello.
It is a beginning of a journey, partnership, and when the history of the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine at UHAS is written, your name will be in it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pro Vice Chancellor, the Pro Vice Chancellor, right? Former Dean, and the Dean of the School of Sports and Science and Exercise. I wanted to read a speech, but I think I'll talk straight from the mic. And it's an honor to be part of this whole school. It is a joy. It's something I share dearly as a sports administrator. I always look at how best we can create opportunities for people in sports. It is minimal in Africa and Ghana, but traveling around the world and getting to see what sport does to many countries, it is no doubt that what you're doing here is going to go a very long way to support many of you students who are here. I thank you so much for the honor. I am happy to be part of you. I accept this responsibility. We will work with this together. I'm not going to do this alone. I will carry all of you along to make sure that this dream will be realized. I believe in the vision of what you're doing. I did a bit of research to know that your school is one of the 3 schools in Africa that is doing this program. There's a lot that we have to discuss. I will speak to your dean, and then we'll have some plans as to the way forward. But I think I already have an immediate responsibility as the chef de mission for the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, which is coming out in July, to sell UHAS, the School of the Sports and Exercise. To the over 70 Commonwealth nations or countries that are coming for these Commonwealth Games. It's a big thing out there, what you're doing. It looks very minimal here. It's not really appreciated in Ghana, but we will make sure, we'll rebrand the school to make sure this branding will be very deliberate. We'll be very intentional to make sure that the world will listen, the world will be attracted. Coming to hold, the whole regional minister spoke about the Oxygen City. It is one thing that is very good for sports, and we will work together, I promise, to support and help create awareness and work to make a real impact for this opportunity given me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Danso, for your kind words. Can we have a photo with the Faculty of SEM and students at this time? So, faculty of SEM, students, administration, kindly join us to take a photo with our ambassador. Thank you, cultural troupe, for that wonderful performance. We are very grateful. So, at this time, we'll call on our AGI partner, who through this unveiling of ambassadorial engagement, they have been very helpful to us. So we'll call on Mr. Dela Beve to give their solidarity message in line with our engagement today.
Unfortunately, my prof chair is up, and the regional minister is also up. The pro vice chancellor, dean and heads of department, invited guests, students, our friends from the media. Good morning again. I deem it great honor to be invited to this special event. Greetings from Eastern, Oti, and Volta Region Branch of Association of Ghana Industries, which I now serve as the new chair. And I'm very honored to say that since I assumed office a few days ago, this is my first engagement. We at the AGI recognize the need to deepen our collaboration with academics, institutions such as the Premier University like yours, UHAS. Hence our presence here today. To be part of this event is also in line with our aim of promoting healthy and vibrant businesses in our regions. Further, it is our plan to continue promoting, encouraging our members to keep exercising and involved in more sports-related activities such as this one. It is for this and other reasons we decided to initiate the annual Volta Regional Corporate Games, which UHAS has been our partners for the past event. We appreciate that partnership. The AGI does not only recognize the crucial role sports play in promoting peace and development in our region, but also note the vital role it can play in promoting tourism in the region. We therefore urge you to include tourism promotion, especially the beach soccer that the minister spoke about, and the match total regatta program in Keta and Voja, respectively. Let me conclude but assuring you that we will continue to collaborate in all related programs to achieve the desired result, all in the quest to build a better region, Volta. Thank you. God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dela, for giving us your goodwill message. I think we've been sitting for a while, right? And we need to demonstrate some physical activity. Dr. Donko, is that right? All right, so at this juncture, we'll be doing some stretching exercises, and I'm sure some of these exercises could be done in the offices, at home, at all convenient places. So we'll call on Courage, who happens to be a first-year student. Is he? Yes, Courage. To lead us on some stretching exercise demonstration for a healthy living. All right, so Courage, you are in your hands. Few minutes.
Good day, Dean of the school, Head of Department, honored guests, respected lecturers, and fellow students. My name is Courage Chikamlili Chiduto, a 100-level SEM student, and I'm here to take us through a presentation on stretching. Please, I will have a few of my colleagues join me to do the demonstration. I'm doing the presentation, and they will help me demonstrate. So please, let's put our hands together for So stretching is one of the simplest ways that everyone, regardless of your age, gender, or ability, can participate in physical activity. So we're going to go through very simple stretches that we can incorporate into our routines for a healthier lifestyle. So please, I would like us to be on our feet, please. So I'm going to be going through some stretches, and they will demonstrate, and then you will do whatever they do. Okay. So the first one is neck stretches. Long hours at a desk can strain your neck. A gentle stretch helps to reduce stiffness, improve circulation, and prevent headaches. Take 30 seconds to relax your neck and refresh your mind. So neck stretches. Thank you. So the next one is a full body stretch. A quick full body stretch improves circulation, boosts energy, and helps you refocus during the work day. Move, stretch, and return to work refreshed. Okay. Protect your wrists. Typing and computer use can strain your wrists and forearms. Gentle wrist stretches help reduce fatigue and prevent repetitive strain injuries. Stretch your wrists and keep your hands healthy. Thank you. Okay, so the next one, stretch your sides, improve flexibility. A simple side stretch helps lengthen the spine, reduce back stiffness, and improves mobility after long periods of sitting. Reach up, stretch sideways, and energize your body. Thank you. Wake up your legs. Sitting for long hours tightens the hamstrings and reduces circulation. A simple hamstring stretch improves flexibility and blood flow. Stand up, stretch your legs, and stay active. Okay. Open your lower back. Desk work often leads to rounded shoulders and tight upper back muscles. Stretching your upper back improves flexibility and posture. Stand tall, stretch wide, and breathe deeply. Thank you. Now, finally, release shoulder stress. Sitting for long periods tightens the shoulders. Shoulder rolls help relieve tension, improve posture, and reduce upper back discomfort. Roll your shoulders and feel the difference. Thank you very much. Please, you can take your seats. So please, as students of sports and exercise medicine, we should not just practice stretching, we should also promote it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Courage. Thank you. So, from the presentation of the faculty of SEM led by Dr. Donko, I heard physical activity doesn't go alone. So you need nutrition. Doc, is that correct? So at this time, we would have some nutrition to warm up our body to be able to do these step ups. So we are at the network and snack breaks. Our dignitaries will be on their seats. Our ushers will serve them. And audience, you may get to the back there, get some yogurt and something like this to give you some energy, and then we'll continue. Please, the snack is behind us. You may kindly reach out to them for a yogurt or something. Please, they'll serve you. Thank you very much, our cultural troupe, for engaging us. I think our snack break is over now. Can we kindly resume our seats for the next session to commence? Dear students, can we kindly resume our seats for the next session to commence? Before we do that, permit me to also acknowledge some dignitaries among us and a faculty. So we have Mr. Alfred Ajiman from the Institute of Traditional and Alternative Medicine. Sir, you are welcome. He is also representing his director, Prof. at ITAM. Doc, thank you very much for coming. We also have Mr. Coach Edu from GES, who has brought in some students to come and witness what we are doing here. Coach, thank you very much for coming. And students, we are grateful for your participation. Can we have a wave? These are students who have come to witness our engagement. Thank you so much. So we're going to have a panel discussion on our theme, sport and exercise for economic growth, recreation, and healthy nation. So permit me to introduce our moderator for the panel discussion in the person of Dr. Helena Inti, who will be our moderator. And permit me also to introduce to you the panelists. So the first person or the first panel is Professor Paul Amuna, who would be on the panel to share with us insights on sport and exercise for economic growth. Prof is a physician, scientist, and a consultant in international nutrition and public health. A graduate from UG Medical School, Faculty of Medicine, University of Sheffield. He holds fellowship of Royal Society of Medicine and the International Union of Nutritional Sciences. He was previously the principal lecturer at the University of Greenwich and Westminster in the professor and former dean at the Fred Binker School of Public Health, University of Health and Allied Sciences. Prof has so many accolades, so many of them. But his interest also is in the development of sports medicine to support training, skills, and competency development for sport. Prof, thank you very much for coming. Our next panel member is our father at the school, Professor Sokode-Lokoe. Prof is also a specialist in sport nutrition with vast research and expertise in the area of nutrition. I asked Prof, I don't have your bio. Prof said, I don't have a bio, but he has so many. Prof, thank you very much. And then we'll have our new ambassador, Mr. Ernest Danso, whom you've already got to know. Yeah, whom you've already got to know who he is and what he does. Sir, thank you very much. For gender balance, we have the regional sports director who, to begin with the Q&A, to have insights into our theme. Thank you very much.
Dr. Apia, please don't run away. We could use your expertise. Please have a seat. Thank you. Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, dear students. It is a great honor to welcome you all to this special panel discussion in commemoration of the International Day of Sports for Development and Peace. Today's theme, Sports and Exercise for Economic Growth, Recreation, and a Healthy Nation, highlights the powerful, critical role that sports and Ambassador, Mr. Ernest Danso, and then we'll hear from the rest of the panel. So you have been involved in high-level stakeholder engagements, and so we would like to know how you envision sports and exercise medicine at the national level.
Thank you so much, Helena. I normally don't want to be talking about written documents by various people, but because I'm on the ground and I have first-hand experience, not engagements, about some of these challenges that I think national level it should be addressed. It should be introduced to the health facilities, the schools, the community as well, and most importantly as well, to make sure we create awareness in terms of education. We talk about introducing and not creating awareness. Sometimes it loses the energy about this whole thing. So when it's introduced to these places, there must be a deliberate approach and intentional about it to make sure that it actually works, not to just let it go over a period of time and then let it go. For me, I've always said, if the national federations are not involved in this, you don't get it working. Currently, our national federations are not working towards business. So you get various people going into this and getting out because it's not making any economic sense. And anything that doesn't bring money into the pocket of people, they tend to look at where they can make something out of. So national level, introduction is okay, but how do we instill this and make sure it becomes something that becomes part of us? So that's why I talk about the educational part and creating awareness to make sure that people will be aware of this and then embrace it. That'll be my initial comment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I saw Professor Muna scribbling something and nodding his head, so I want to believe that he would want to build on what Mr. Danso said for us.
Thank you very much, and thank you for this very important forum. Yes, as I was listening to Mr. Danso, I was scribbling down a few points. He mentioned the importance of sports and exercise in relation to health facilities. And I want to start by saying that if sports and exercise medicine and sports and exercise sciences were not that important, a visionary like the late President Atta Mills, who established this university, would not have insisted that the University of Health and Allied Sciences should have a school of sports and exercise medicine. So far this morning, we have heard about Kofi Annan, we've heard about all sorts of people, and I want us to remember that the reason we are here now talking about sports and exercise medicine is because Atta Mills, who was a very keen sports man and a representative of sports at the Ghana Olympic Committee for many years, thought it fit that our university should be among the 3 universities that our ambassador mentioned in the whole of Africa where sports and exercise medicine training takes place. So that is the first thing. The second thing is that as he spoke, he mentioned health facilities. And I was nodding because if you take 2 of our national health policies, one, the policy for public health, and 2, the National Non-Communicable Diseases Policy, which are policies that the government, the Ministry of Health, has actually gone through Parliament and they are now operational. You notice that physical activity is a very, very important part of our health policy. And as we heard this morning, and I was listening to our friend from the Republic Bank, who see her linking health to finance to well-being, and then of course from the school we heard about mental well-being and so on and so forth. So these are very, very important. How do I envision this? For me, it is something that has to be across the board, from the grassroots. Let's look at our schools, our colleges, and then let us look at our general health and well-being, and then we look at the elite sports, such as the people that Mr. Danso will be leading to Glasgow for the next Commonwealth Games. So for me, it's a very broad area, and it tells us that sports and exercise medicine is so important. And in fact, it is critical for our future, both in terms of our health and in terms of our economic growth. I'll leave it at that for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those insightful perspectives. So now I'll turn to the economic dimension of sports and exercise, and I'll direct my question to Dr. Piakusi and our Dean. How can we better harness the sports and exercise ecosystem to drive economic growth and job creation in Ghana? Because we are training sports scientists, and we want to see them excel in various areas on the field.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. I'm once again elated to be a member of the panelists. At the just ended Volta Fair for Sports Development, I made mention of the underutilization of sports and exercise medicine. The program has vast potentials which have not been tapped. There is the need for us to invest as a nation in the education and training of sports and exercise medical scientists. I'm saying this because when you look at the landscape, we fit or play vital roles when it comes to health development, which indirectly or directly affects the economic growth of this nation. We are supposed to provide healthcare professionals who would be put in vital places to take care of our health needs. Then again, I'll talk about the lack of infrastructure. Infrastructure in the sense that when you look around, many of our sports and exercise infrastructure or facilities around are not up to international standards. When we invest in putting up international Olympic-size, Olympic equivalent infrastructure, then we would be able to play the game internationally. Let's take this very ended 13th African Games that just ended. We saw lots of countries coming in to participate in competitive events from many of our African countries. This actually boosted economic activities around the Accra, or the, what's the name of the village? Boteman, yes. Because activities such as catering, driving, etc., all saw a facelift. They all got boosted. So, in short, I would say the sports and exercise terrain has been vastly underutilized, and therefore there is the need for us to tap it rightly. Thank you.
Dr. Apia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ntin, for having me. Let me stand on the shoulders of Professor Amuna and that of Mr. Danso and my dean. So, Prof talked about public health policy and the facilities. And then Mr. Danso talked about the involvement of national federations. Now, for economic growth, you see, Parliament has passed an LI, Prof, called the LI 2477. Now, this legislative instrument, part of it is to ensure the implementation of exercise, the regulation of exercise, particularly in fitness gyms in Ghana. But it rests on the shoulders of the National Sports Authority, who would involve the national federations, who would now bring on Ghana Health Service, because the Honorable Minister, Honorable Kabina Mita Akando, he has said NCDs are on the rise. There's a burden on the health system. And so if exercise is medicine and there can be a preventive way to it, then there has to be a collaborative way, leveraging on this LI, to implement that. It is about time Ghana Health Service consider adding a preventive sector or a facility to our healthcare system, so that people who would need exercise, people who would want to engage in some form of activity are referred by these medical practitioners into such facilities to be able to engage in them. As we do so, they get the energy. Those with conditions are managed. Hypertension, diabetes are managed. They become healthy. They become productive. Wherever they are within the country, they work and become productive. That is when the economy would grow. So it all starts with how this particular law or this legislative instrument can be established. It is passed already, but the implementation rests on the National Sports Authority to bring the federations together, to collaborate with Ghana Health Service to ensure that this attachment of sports and exercise to our health centers, it's really instrumental and key in ensuring economic growth. Thank you.
Right, thank you. I think these are important systems perspectives. And building on that, I'll direct my next question to Prof. Amuna. Can I call you a public health nutritionist or scientist? Okay, right. So, yes, reason why I want to ask this question. So, with the rising burden of non-communicable diseases in Ghana, how can we integrate exercise prescriptions into our primary healthcare system?
Thank you very much. This is a very important question. And again, it follows from the last speaker's point about implementation. If you recall, in her introductory remarks, the Vice Chancellor cited this as an example for dietary prescription, exercise prescription, and things like that. Now, elsewhere, the health systems actually have people who are trained, who can assess and then provide prescriptions. For example, if you go to, for any cardiovascular check, one of the things that usually is used to assess one's level of fitness is what we call a stress test. The physiotherapists that we are training in this university are supposed to know that and be able to do that as well. A stress test or a step test is a very simple thing. It's a little, box, and then the person they will let you climb it and come down, and then depending on your level of ability, and as Dr. Donko told us earlier on, anybody can be prescribed exercise. Anybody, and the only thing is to look at what you are able to do. And so from that, we'll be able to assess and say that, well, you need this or that, and then we can work with that. But you see, for us to prescribe exercise at the facility level, even starting from CHIPS zones all the way through health centers to hospitals, we need to have people who are trained. And who are those going to train them? We expect that our students and our graduates in sports and exercise medicine should have been trained in exercise prescription as part of their training. And there is a whole book, and the title of the book is Exercise Testing and Prescription. It's a whole book. And it was written by some of the leading experts in the field. It's a very old book, but it is still like the Bible of this area. It tells you how important it is. Exercise prescription is important, particularly for people, like the Vice Chancellor said, normal, healthy people, and then people who have some form of non-communicable diseases. There is evidence from a study that was conducted among Puma Indians in the United States. Now, the Puma Indians are the indigenous Indians who actually settled in the United States before everyone else came. And overweight, obesity, and diabetes is very, very common among them, partly because it is genetic. There are genetic links to it. However, a study was conducted, and it was found that those who had a habitual, historical level of physical activity, even walking, 30 minutes a day, had a much, much reduced risk of going on to develop diabetes. More than 75%. So that the longer you do exercise, the better it is for your health. And I think we've heard a lot about that this morning. And there are so many other examples of instances where exercise prescription works. And we have to train people on how to prescribe exercise. And I want to challenge us that as part of our program here, we will actually have a whole session, courses, where we will train people on exercise prescription. Apart from that, let me just warm us up by saying that our medical students, our physician assistants, our nurses, and other health workers also need to be trained in exercise prescription. Sadly, in our hospitals, most of our doctors do not know. It's only those who are interested who go and read about it, and they try to do something. So, Prof. Dean, I think we have a lot of work to do. But that also then gives us opportunity, as we're told today, that exercise, we should see this as an opportunity. And it can be an opportunity for economic initiatives where people can, students, graduates, you can set up shop. And then people will come to you and then you screen them, assess them, and then prescribe for them. The Ghana Health Service, in its latest strategic plan, has physical activity as a very important component going forward. The question is implementation. If you want to implement and you don't have the people trained with the capacity to prescribe exercise, then you are limited. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. So as you spoke, I heard NCD management. I'm not sure whether to say curative, but I also heard preventive. I have a concern that I take personal. You're also a physician, but you don't practice. You practice sometimes. But I have a question I believe you'll be able to help us. I do not understand why it is difficult for many medical doctors to refer their patients, to the dietitian, the nutritionist, the physiotherapist. Maybe physiotherapists they don't have a choice. But for nutrition, maybe medical doctors feel they can tell patients to eat what. I want to understand that bit, and I want to know how as a nation. So you mentioned that other healthcare professionals must be trained to prescribe. When we do that, where is the place of the people with expertise? And where do we draw the line? And when do we say that, no, you have to see the expert? For me, since we are not seeing that collaboration, that teamwork, I hesitate to advocate for that. So if you can throw some light on that for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe in more is better. And the reason why I am saying that these various professionals within the health ecosystem need to be trained is that even if they are not going to be the ones doing the direct prescription, they should have an idea of how it is done. And where you do not have the people who are trained to specifically deal with that, the dean told us that at the moment we have only 135 students in the school. And that presupposes from level 100 to level 400. And so, if there are only 3 schools or 3 universities in Africa that run sports and exercise medicine programs, it means that in terms of the capacity, we're going to be limited. And that is why, for instance, we also train physicians and others in some of these areas. I went into nutrition deliberately because as a student and later as a medical officer at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, I realized that the doctors did not have any clue what nutrition in.
So I talk about the National Sports Authority itself, the ministry itself. Are we intentional about these policies that we want to talk about? If you say Access Bank or Republic Bank should come in to support sports, what sort of tax incentives do you have for such organizations? So policy-wise, I will just mention one. At least tax incentives should be looked at. And then the major thing that I talk about is the federation heads and the stakeholders in sports. We don't look attractive to the sponsors. We don't look attractive to the business community. I'm a businessman. If I put money into sports, I can tell you for a fact it's charity for now. It's not going to come back in any form of returns. So until a businessman says that, okay, if I invest money into this, it's going to bring me some returns, you won't get them. And without the private sector, sports will never grow. Government can never develop sports alone in terms of bringing a nutritionist, bringing everybody on board. Currently, as we speak, we're going to Commonwealth. We're struggling to go with a delegation in terms of the health sector. Our medical team should be made of many other people, but we've limited it because we don't have the resources. Other countries are coming with even dentists to the games. We will not be able to do that because we don't have the resources. So until we get the private sector to come on board, but we cannot force them to come on board until we make ourselves attractive enough. And government comes in with the policies, like I mentioned about the tax incentives, that will be given to many of these companies that will come on board. I feel that will be something I'll say. There's a lot to say, but I don't think I can talk about all of these things right now. Thank you.
So that brings us to the broader national opportunity. As we mentioned earlier, Ms. Philippina Frimpong was supposed to be with us, and so we have a video of hers to share perspectives. The media team, will we be able to share her video now? Okay.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Philippina Frimpong, Regional Director of the NSA. I have to apologize for my inability to be present for this occasion, but I still wanted to be very much part of it, and so I have chosen this option to, as it were, provide some information as far as I am concerned, and also share my knowledge on the subject area. level, I believe that we need to position it like the herbal medicine practitioners did. There was a while when people didn't focus much on herbal medicine, and then out of the blue, it just took off. And I think that's what we should do. We should also capture the airwaves. Now we have new media as well, social media. Make use of social media to ensure that it is in the minds of citizens every time. So if it is the news, they are hearing something about it. If it is telenovelas that have captured the minds of the nation, there are adverts running through it. Or social media, if anybody goes on TikTok, let them encounter it. If they go on Facebook, let them encounter it. On any other of the handles, let them encounter it. This way, we are bringing it into the minds of the Ghanaians, and we are pushing the agenda that exercise is medicine for non-communicable diseases. And so I believe that that should be one of the, we should be out there letting people see and know about it. Also, inculcate it in the youth. I mean, if we are able to get the youth to adopt it now, they will go with it. And by the time they are old and they have to, they may not even encounter some of these diseases because of the exercise that they have engaged in. Also, I think we should establish national centers. You are a center, but I don't know if you have a center in Accra or a place in Accra where exercise medicine research is being carried out, or clinical care is being given, or some form of education is being given to the populace. Forgive me if you are doing it, I'm not aware of it, and I will own that and maybe later on go and look for information on it. But if it is not being done, then I do believe that it is a matter of time that we started that, and so that we can have research that will be published in well-known journals to help inform people that this is what is going on and this is how good it is for us. Also, the partnership, and I know that we have to talk about collaboration later on, but if UHAS will lead that collaboration with the ministry. Fortunately for us now, we have a recreational desk. We should start liaising with them, start the discussions with them, contact them, let them know. And also, there's a bit of a worry because if we make sports recreational, like how some people will understand it, they wouldn't really take it seriously. And so we should focus on the medicinal aspects of it. Now, we have to train. Capacity building. We need to build the capacity of people, facilitators who will do the education, coaches and who will take people through the exercises, physiotherapists, and all those people who will work with the clients to get them through it. I think I know that you are doing some. Maybe we should make it more, we should loud it, as the youth will say now. I'm sure you all heard about the water sports event that went on in Keta. It was well promoted. It was well organized, and so it drew traffic to Keta. And so Keta, the beach, other sites that were promoted will receive traffic, and people will go and they'll talk about it. Now we need to plan to expand and have such events in the Volta region during such times. We can just decide that we're going to go for a walk to the waterfalls, or we can have a trek to Mount Afa, or we can go to the trek to the Adaklu Mountain or other places. So we work the activity into the day and we start promoting it for now, maybe till the time, so that it garners enough publicity and get the kind of traction that we want to be able to bring the traffic to the place. It may not always fall, we may not always celebrate Easter around that time, so you cannot tie it to Easter, but we can make the day a day on its own and then put in some physical activity that will help people to realize the importance of sports. We must identify some sports disciplines that generate interest to, and athletics does. Football also does, but it looks like it tends to be the go-to sport all the time, and so it's always being promoted. But the youth are interested in basketball, and water is very good for handball, and now boxing is also coming back up again. So have a morning event and then an evening event to celebrate the day or commemorate the day, but at least intersperse it with some educational aspect and then get the information out there. So we'll be promoting our tourism and we'll be promoting sports, exercise and medicine. As Women in Sports Network, we decided that we were going to mentor young ladies who were interested in tennis, rugby, and taekwondo. We introduced them to the sports and also try to help them using sports to keep them in school, because there are certain areas in Accra where by the age of 13 you're expected to be pregnant and having children, and if you are not, the community actually maltreats you for being, they consider you weird. And when we found out about this, we decided to help change the perception and let them know that the young girl should be allowed to go to school, should be encouraged to go to school, to build herself up and not become a mother at such a young age when she's actually a child herself. And so we began the Girls Camp initiative that brought together 60 to 100 young girls from the community, and we extended it to other areas for a week. And in that week, they were taken through the sports disciplines. We introduced them. Before it was tennis, and then we introduced rugby, and then we introduced taekwondo. But after the sports, we did knowledge enrichment tours. So we went to places like the Parliament House, the police headquarters, we went to the Naval Base, we went to the Air Force Base, we went to the Supreme Court. And whenever we went to such places, we always requested to meet the women who were actually in high positions there and have them talk to the young ladies to encourage them to continue with education and also with sports. And so from the period of 2014 till now, the Girls Camp runs every vacation. During the long vac, we run it and we take them through menstrual hygiene, adolescent sexual health. We teach them about drug abuse, sexual harassment and abuse, to help them to be able to identify it if they are experiencing it and know what to do and how to prevent, in their own small ways, how to prevent it and how to ensure that they don't put themselves in positions of danger where people can have access to them and do things that they are not supposed to do to them. And in our discussions, we do mental health as well. We discuss at length mental health. We get people from professionals, and we always use professionals. So we get professionals from the Accra Psychiatric Hospital and some of the NGOs that run mental health clinics, and they because I believe that it is essential to ensure that mentally they are sound. They are going through so many things now. Social media predisposes them to a lot of things, and there's always a challenge for them. And so mental health is really, really paramount, and we always ensure that we get professionals to come and speak to them on that. And when you engage with them, you get to hear quite a lot that is going on in their lives that you wouldn't believe, you wouldn't even expect that at their age they are going through those things that they are. So far, it changed the community's outlook, because what we did was we always send them back to go and discuss what we have discussed with their families. That is always their assignment. And then we give them items, information, things that they can give to their family members, i.e. their mother and father, and if they have siblings, they can give to them to help them also build their capacity in the area. And after some of the parents realized that this was good for their children, it was keeping them out of trouble, sometimes they will call to ask, when is the next program coming up? We have parents who will bring their children. Ordinarily, they would have left them to wander about, but they will come and meet us to make sure that we have the program and that their children are present. And so through that, we have been able to change the outlook in that community, and we are very proud of ourselves, and we hope to move to another community with similar issues and replicate it there and see how we also stem that tide of teenage pregnancy. I believe that UHAS needs to, as a matter of urgency, contact the recreational desk of the Ministry of Sports and Recreation, meet with the director in charge, and let her know if you haven't already, let her know the plans that you have, because I think she also needs ideas and plans to help her directorate to work and achieve the aims that they have. I think you should meet with the Ghana Olympic Committee as well, collaborate with them, so that through them you can get to all the federations and have meetings with them, present your plans going forward, and receive theirs as well. And that is where we can actually feel the sports and exercise medicine aspects in the federation's activities. It will be good if private sector is involved, but with private sector, you may have to, maybe the private hospitals, but I do believe that it is one area that is also paramount and must be pursued. Then the national coordinator for school sports, I think, is also someone that you should start collaborating with. And so the Ministry of Sports and Recreation, the Ghana Olympic Committee to give you access to the national federations, and then the school sports coordinator should be a starting point for the collaborations. And I'm sure by 2030, things would have changed a lot. Thank you so much. Hello.
Many thanks to Ms. Frimpong. Clearly, there is significant untapped potential within the sector, and accessibility is critical. So let's now shift our focus to recreation and social impact of sports. We've already heard a lot from Ms. Frimpong. Mr. Danso, can you share some examples of how community-led recreational activities have successfully fostered social inclusion and peace building?
Community, it's the way to go for sports. We do schools all right, but for me, I have done more of the rural communities when it comes to sports development. I use it as a form of inclusion and peace building because the community, it's something that brings them together. Sports is something that unites them a lot. I mean, what it does around the world. So for me, it supports the youth. Lately, what we have in society in terms of bad behavior and so many other things, when you bring sports there, it gives them some sort of a tool to use to get away from some of these bad behaviors. So we do that a lot. And I'm looking at a space whereby the grassroots sports will be linked to the national development system. When these young ones are able to, when they finish playing sports over a period of time and they don't get to continue from the community, then the interest goes down to the younger ones that come after them. So I look at that as well. So, and also how they will have access to some few facilities. Sometimes you just send a football boot or maybe one football to a community and the whole community is praising you, whereby you send 10, 20 footballs to the city and no one cares. So it's how we prioritize these things and then actually share these things properly so that people will benefit, or the communities, every community will benefit equally. It wouldn't be as if some are benefiting more than others because we should look at, I say data is one thing we lack. So speaking to government, if you don't have all this in place, it's difficult to speak to government, speak to private sector, and then to be able to convince people to come in. So if I'm building a data concerning some of these things, then make sure that I have enough information to be able to sell to the sponsors that I'm looking at bringing on board. Because if you have that data, then you can get a brand to say, okay, if you have these numbers actually following, or add these numbers to your team, then I will be able to bring my brand to be associated with your data or your organization. If government can actually come to policy now, I mean, you talk about Botema. I was heavily involved in African Games. I was the chef de mission for the 13th game as well. So I saw what it did to the community in terms of road infrastructure and many other things that came to the community. So I talk about data. If Ho West or some other part of Ho is, or some part of the other countries are able to share data, they should be able to get the necessary support and then partnerships that they need. Socially, I feel the role of everybody is much needed. The chiefs, the federation heads, I come back to them because they run the sports in the country. They do the development programs. But in this case, they don't have the necessary support, so they are limited to where they go to. So if those partnerships come on board, then socially it can impact many people. Currently, I think we are just mainly in Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, and some few places that you see most of the federations having offices. So if they can be brought on board and then see how they can partner the chiefs and to be able to help the communities. Socially, it will get them off the street. I keep saying that everything I've said right now, I'm looking at how we can actually make sure these things are implemented well and the kids love, all the community love engaging in sports to get the young ones off the street, because that's what is happening currently. We have a lot of athletes. If they are tested, now the anti-doping laws are being passed, and it's been passed and it's heavily used for all games. And we have many of our athletes being tested for many drugs, one or the other. So I feel it's important to actually get sports into every community. If we're able to do that, then we'll get them off the streets. For me, that is the ultimate goal for this. And then it will create jobs for them as well when they are involved in sports. Like we have the nutritionists and others from this place as well. We get other kids getting involved into other sectors of the sport. So socially, sports is something that gets people employment and then get people out of trouble as well. They become more disciplined. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Danso. A good reminder that sports is a unifying force, and so we need to give it the needed attention. Prof, when he was introducing, that's Prof. Kote, told us what Mr. Danso as our brand ambassador would do, his functional role. And so I think I'll put the pressure on Dr. Apia. Prof, I will save you. I see that you are tired. So, Dr. Apia, how can we leverage the influence of sports figures and brand ambassadors to encourage youth to adopt active lifestyles and positive social behaviors? We've already talked about how some of these interventions have yielded. Ms. Filipina talked about it. Mr. Danso has also added on.
All right. Thank you very much once again. I think I would want to make some few comments. Prof made a very strong comment in there when you asked about the exercise prescription and how that can be promoted. You begin to see that people within the medical practice are beginning to move into sports medicine. For example, Dr. Pambo, Dr. Erikaite, who are moving in. And so I just want to add the introduction of GEMP, the Graduate Entry Medical Profession, should also be intentional, like Mr. Danso said, to absorb, graduates in sports and exercise medicine. Not to say they just give them direct entry, but then if they fulfill the requirements, the curriculum and everything, we should be intentional to push such graduates into that entry. Once they get there, get the knowledge of medicine and its practice, I think they will be in a better position to be able to understand exercise prescription and its relevance. Then gradually the advocacy can also go on from there. Another thought that I would want to share is on Madame Filipina's initial introduction on how to project sports and exercise. And I wrote here visibility. So that visibility is very important. She already mentioned to us the platforms and the various places that we could do that. Then this visibility comes into the entrepreneurship that you asked, Mr. Danso. The attractiveness. A business person is looking out for the attractiveness to be able to create a partner to have the return on investment. So it goes on to say that if we don't have good governance structures in place, how do we make this attractiveness a reality when entrepreneurship are looking for creativity and innovation? But then again, we don't have a structure that could allow people to come in, to bring on this innovation. So it's also another thing that we need to look at, governance structures and all that. So I come to my substantive question. I think that having role models, it's very important. We are very blessed to have our very own alumni or alumnus here who was a nurse, went through GEMP, and then now a medical doctor, Dr. Eric Tete-Aite. He's now gone into sports medicine. So such a person, and I'm sure very soon he will come back to the school or the university to make a contribution to us. So such individuals could really help us, to explore the opportunities. The industry is about connections. It's about networking. And so if you have people who are already there, who are well placed, like Mr. Danso himself, if they are well placed, that is when they will be able to carry you along. The likes of Dr. Pambo is also a same. And so having role models within the sports ecosystem is key, very important because of the networking opportunities, even internship. Within the ministry, sports and recreation, how do you get internship opportunities? Scholarship, for example. I think yesterday or so, Prof and myself were at the NSA, and the HR, the acting HR, was telling us about opportunity in parasport. So when Dr. Donko was presenting our parasport, I said, hey, this is really nature. You know, God and destiny is linking us into so many things, creating that awareness. So it is when we are able to connect to, you know, these individuals in there that will be able to get these opportunities to explore, which will come with this funding, grants, and scholarship and what have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I think Prof. Amuna mentioned stress test. So how can regular physical activity be better utilized to improve mental well-being and also reduce stress among workers and students? So this time, not necessarily for the sports person, but you know, we put together this 7-day physical activity stretches that we demonstrated in the middle of today's event. And we're hoping that we would put the whole university community into action every day, 7 days prior to this event, but we didn't have it as planned. And I want to believe that just like we have Wednesday Fugu Day, why don't we have, these are 7 activities that we put together every day. The person sitting behind the desk can do some physical activity based on these recommendations that we have put together. And I want to look up to Mr. Danso to be able to put this in force for us, so that we say that the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine is initiating this, that 7 days in a week we have these stretches that you can do within a few minutes, maximum 5 minutes, to stretch a bit to keep you active and also to relieve you. I mean, they can be therapeutic. So how can we, back to your question, sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, that's fine. It's good to put it in context. And thank you very much for that. I think my colleagues here have made a lot of points. And just to, before we go into that question, just to say that in addition to this example that Dr. Pia gave about one of our alumnus who has transitioned through, I've been having discussions with the Dean of the School of Medicine about how the School of Medicine can support SEM in its growth and also the development of our graduates. And one of the options will be the GEM route, and whether we can actually have some quota, for our graduates so that they can go on to that. Now, the reason this is important is that recently, and the dean is aware because we've been having discussions. We've had discussions with a very famous sports medicine expert, Ghanaian sports medicine expert in the United Kingdom, Dr. Anthony Annan. And Dr. Anthony Annan has worked with the Ghana Football Association. He's worked with, the Sports Authority and so on. And he's done a lot. And he has worked with the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. And he's the person who mentored the first 2 fellows in sports and exercise medicine in Ghana. And he heads a UK committee on sports and exercise medicine. And so he actually approached me and said, Paul, is there any way that we can work with UHAS to host the sports and exercise medicine program for the Ghana College? And so we've started that discussion, and the hope is that if we did that, you see, because at the moment, we are training our students mainly in sports and exercise sciences, not in sports and exercise medicine. Because as you said, they will need to have some aspects of the medical training in order to actually enrich their experience. And so if we can create that pathway, and if the students are hungry and ambitious and hardworking and prepared to do the heavy lifting, believe you me, the sky is not the limit. So then coming back to the question that you asked, which is about how we... Yes. So what we have done in Hohoe is that the Department of Family and Community Health, of which I'm a part, came up with an idea because they realized that our faculty and students, need to be active. And so they came up with an idea where every Saturday, or I think once a month or something like that, they started. We will meet and then go through our paces. And as I'm sure you know, the university coach is based in Hohoe. So he is basically like the team leader. And there is a stadium, which is not being used very much. And so the idea is that we'll march and then get to the stadium. We'll go through these exercises and so on and so forth. I have to say that it has worked to some extent, but not to the extent that we wanted. And you notice also that when we go on retreats to places like the Trinity, Holy Trinity Spa, they have resident physical, trainers, and then they bring them in to come in and, help and so on. And we're there recently, and I noticed that it's 5:30, and then I was looking through my window at 5:15, and I couldn't see anybody. So you see that these things, as we have been told, education and the social awareness is very, very important. I'll tell you a story. In South Africa, I used to visit South Africa a lot. And in Sharpeville, there is an elderly people's group there. Elderly. Some of them were up to 100 years old. And every single day they went out walking. That is the form of exercise that they were doing. And at the end, they give stars. So the best walker, this and all those things. So we can bring in those incentives. Now, if we are the University of Health and Allied Sciences, I believe that through the school, you could actually come up with something, start from within your school and invite other schools within the whole community. And let us try and publicize it through the social media and elsewhere and get these things going. It is possible. Now, there is also this thing, I'm sure many of us have seen it. Sometimes you go on social media and you see small video clips, Tai Chi, 7 minutes this, 10 minutes that, and some of what we did today, I'm sure you got it from the social media, and those things are very, very helpful. And by the way, the workforce in places like Japan and China, do you know that in many workplaces, before they start the day, they actually have to do some physical activity? Not too strenuous, but something that they do and it improves your mental health. Because apart from allowing the blood flow to go very well, when you do exercise, and I'm sure we can all attest to this, when you do exercise, the first day is hard. But when you get used to it, you find that after you've done exercise and you've gone and you've showered and then you sit in your office or wherever you are refreshed. There is no doubt at all that it has an impact on our mental well-being and our concentration. And so I would strongly advocate that the school should lead in this, and we will follow.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Prof.
Moderator, let me add something to what Prof just said. Yes, so I think all these discussions, we've had them, trying to look for an avenue to project physical activity nationwide through SEM. There is something I have observed over the years. I think nationwide we have become more conscious of our physical health. And so many a times you see elderly people, not even elderly people alone, but across all age groups, walking brisk walking, slow walking, fast walking, etc. And also to add, that is at Ayimensa, Ebri, that stretch, there is something interesting also happening there. It has become cultural or religious, or I don't know, but you find so many people embarking on walk from the base of the mountain uphill. And I think SEM, when rightly positioned, can do something out of it and make it nationwide, blow it and project it for something to come out of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the previous government, Prof, initiated a National Fitness Day that was held on the second Saturday of every month. I'm not sure it has changed in this government as well, but it has become a bit dormant. So maybe we can leverage on that. The second Saturday of every month, like Prof said, right from our school with our students, we can begin to engage in that gradually. We use social media, we use hashtags to create that awareness. We invite other schools gradually. If it's well organized within from our schools and the university community and in the region, I'm sure it can translate into other regions. With the support of the minister, it could become a national thing, because there's something there like that, National Fitness Day.
All right, thank you. So this is relevant in today's high-pressure environment. Everyone is under pressure. So these are very important keys. And finally, as we look to the future, what specific yes, Dr. Apia is looking at his clock. What specific this is the final question. What specific collaborative steps should academia, the private sector, the government take today to ensure that sports and exercise become a central pillar of Ghana's national development by 2030?
All right. Once again, thank you. I would just want to add a bit to what they've just said concerning this fitness program that you're mentioning. I think the National Sports Authority has a lot of facilities. There are facilities in all parts of the country. It's about identify which partners you have to partner to do this. Pick some particular media houses, and then get some social media bloggers to be able to run this program. Like Prof said, the school can start it, and then get it out to the public to let them know that this is something they have to do. I think the recreational desk at the ministry is already planning to do something of that sort if they've not already started, and then they're actually putting some policies together to know how they can get this thing done properly. So I will get in touch with her, the coordinator of that desk. I'll speak to her and see how we can collaborate to make sure she's doing nationally, she's moving around the country, so how we can bring her in and make sure we get the SEM involved as well. About the future, for me, when it comes to government, I think government policy, funding, and infrastructure should be one from government. Academia, research, training, data collection is key for me. If you have data, you can approach any organizer or any sponsor to help. For the private sector, I shy away to talk about bringing them in now, because currently I can say we are not attractive enough. I can always say that on authority. Few will come, but it's just for maybe some. Thank you. That's just it. But if you want to make anything economical sense out of this, let's work on ourselves first as a sector. Then we can start approaching the private sector. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe we can finalize here. Prof, would you like to add anything, any remarks, or we are good? Okay.
Thank you. Yes, so I just want to comment on some of the last points that Mr. Danso made. Because earlier when he was speaking, he talked about data. And we need data to convince people. We need data to prove. We need data as evidence that something works or something is lacking. And as you were speaking, I thought, what an opportunity for the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine to actually undertake a study. Let's start from the schools. Let's look at school sports at the moment. What is the state of school sports? Let's start from the Volta region in terms of the number of trained coaches they have, in terms of the facilities that they have or the lack thereof, in terms of the various support systems from nutrition all the way through, and then to see where the gaps are, and then use that as leverage to make the case for partnerships to support that area. How do we identify talent these days? There are academies, but many of these academies are private. In the UK, where I'm familiar, there were some schools that were designated sports academies. And so you expect that at the end of the day, those schools will actually generate, graduates who would then go into elite sports and represent the country and so on. At the moment, our elite sports people, either they get a scholarship and go abroad to go and advance themselves, and then some of them eventually, how can somebody called Azu be a British athlete? Azu. So somehow that is the way that they can develop themselves. And as we were told earlier, these things require some financial backing and a lot of support. If you don't have the money, you can't do it. And so we can start with that. Let's look at what facilities are there. How do we identify? I've been seeing the school sports, at certain times they come and they are running all over the place. You don't even know what nutrition they are giving them. You don't know what hydration they are giving them. And all sorts of other things. How do they select the best? And then when they are selected, the talent, how do we nurture and grow them to become elite? Because most of what we've been talking about has been to do with the general. But I think we are also interested in the elite. And so the school has an opportunity there. And also to generate data elsewhere where we can go to industry and tell them, look, if you put in so much, we can do A, B, C, and D. And we can show you data evidence for that. So I think that I am glad we are having this forum. And I want to commend the dean and the school for this annual event. And I very much look forward to the next one. I hope that the conversations here, as Mr. Danso was saying, I've been busy writing notes. And you're saying that the students should be taking notes because a lot of what we are saying here is not from the textbook. But then these are very important discussions that should give you ideas about the opportunities that are there so that together we can move forward, build SEM into a formidable force, and to realize the dream and the goal of Professor Atta Mills. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to, at this juncture, humbly task the research coordinator of the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine to take up this suggestion or topic as suggested by Prof. Amuna. We can put some students on and quickly jump into action and produce some data to prove that actually something is lacking. And so there will be the need for so and so or A and B to be put in place. Thank you.
Awesome. So at this point, I'd like to thank our panelists, Prof. Amuna. We are so grateful for joining us here. It's really humbling to have you, and I was happy to hear you say you're looking forward to next year. Thank you so much. Prof. Kote, you put a lot into putting this event together. I know you are very tired. I know 2 a.m. I was texting you. I was giving you some pressure. Thank you so much. Mr. Danso, you did not turn down our request. And we deeply appreciate that you've accepted to be with us and work with us and promote our school. Thank you so, so much. Dr. Apia, I just drew you in. Apologies, but thank you. Thank you to you all. Today's discussion has reinforced that sport and exercise are not just lifestyle choices. They are powerful tools for national transformation. And I like the idea of flooding the airwaves, social media, with what we have to offer in the field of sports and exercise medicine. I like that stakeholder engagement translates to ground impact. And I like that preventive care is considered for building the country's economy. So let's continue to collaborate and take actionable steps toward building a healthier, more inclusive, and economically vibrant Ghana. Thank you and enjoy the program. I think we are done, but we will finalize. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I continue my MC duty after the panel discussion. And we've gotten to two very important areas. Unfortunately, the coordinators were unable to make it, but just to give a brief overview, the university has what we call the vocational training, which is a clinical practice for almost every student in UHAS. Last year, a facility that we've been working with presented an award to an outstanding student during the vocational training. This year, they also decided to present some awards to the previous students who had their vocational training. This tells us that our students are doing well when it comes to clinical practice in the industry. Due to some reason, they sent a message, they were unable to come, not to say that they are not giving the awards. They will find another time and present that award, but not today. So it leads us to the next important segment of our forum or seminar. The school initiated, I want to give a background of the award or certificate presentation now. Our school initiated a course which is called the Professional Practice Certificate course. The essence of this course was to upgrade knowledge base in the industry. People who were in a fitness environment who needed certain scientific basis to be able to do the exercise prescription, the training regimen that people go through. So SEM developed an 8-week program to be able to enhance on the knowledge base of such people. With the first cohort, we had few people enrolling in the program. They went through the program successfully, and we would want to use the opportunity in this seminar to present the award to them as being qualified to, give training and exercise to the industry. So I'll call on our Dean, Professor Sokode-Lokoe, to do the award of certificate presentations to the qualified students.
Thank you very much. So the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine rolled out the Professional Practice Certificate course on a trial basis, sort of. We were testing the waters to see how responsive Ghanaians would be. Everything great start small. We have tested the waters. We've seen where our shortfalls are. We are working earnestly towards them. Just some weeks ago, we encountered some turbulence and all that. But this is not the right forum to discuss all this. At the end of the day, our first cohort have successfully passed and fulfilled all the requirements needed to be issued their certificates. I want to say a very big congratulations to them and give them a thumbs up. I would also want to use this opportunity to humbly plead with them to serve as ambassadors, a mouthpiece or mouthpieces to market this certificate program of ours. Broadcast it and help us market it the more. It is a very useful program which has been designed to upgrade the knowledge and skills of physical instructors and people in the physical activity space. We encountered some problems, that is nationwide, by losing prominent people through malhandling at the gym. This is all what we are trying to prevent moving on. We are grateful for your patience and your understanding. At this juncture, I would like to present the certificates to the graduates. You've made us proud. The first person is in the name of Dakun Elvis. Shall we welcome him with a thunderous round of applause as he's going to be a mouthpiece for this. The next person is in the name of Richard Okpoti Odoi. And of course, the last person, in the person of James Nana Arthur. All right. On that note, I say a very big congratulations once again. Thank you very much.
Do you want to have a picture with them and the faculty? I think we can have a picture with our graduates and the faculty briefly. Yes. Please come upstairs. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity as our faculty take their seat to stress that this professional practice certificate course is in close collaboration with the National Sports Authority. We are doing that with them. And so there's even an MOU established in doing so. And then we have some faculty that even teach on the program. That is in the person of, what's his name? Hubert. Thank you, Doc. Yes, Hubert. That's his name, Hubert. He is into sport management. So this would be a grounds in trying to implement the LI 2477, where we'll get qualified people within this, the fitness industry who can also be in a position to train our students when they go out for vocational training. We are almost at the end. Thank you very much. Before I call on the next person to give us a closing remarks, permit me to acknowledge our sponsors. Very important. And so Republic Bank has a stand outside. And so if you would want to open an account, and also the Ghana Pay app, you can get to the stands, get to know about account opening, particularly for our student. And the Student Association is the president here, financial secretary, vice president, Republic Bank. Open an account. This has come to stay. We need to sustain it. And then students register on the Ghana Pay, and so the stands are there, and they'll give you all the information that you need. It's free, the account. So you heard it. You heard it. Also to Association of Ghana Industries, who have been a strong backbone. We are grateful to you, sir, Mr. Adela. Thank you very much. To Best Hands Therapy Clinic, we say thank you very much. There's a beautiful T-shirt that we are wearing, sponsored by Best Hands Therapy Clinic. We are very grateful to you. And Salaria Med, thank you so much. And to Funkel, the beautiful yogurt that we are enjoying is from Funkel. So thank you so very much. Now I'll call on Professor Paul Amuna to give us a closing remarks for our program.
Thank you very much. All too soon, we've come to the end of today's activities. And I would like, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, to first of all thank our honored guests from the Republic Bank who set the scene for us. We also want to thank especially our ambassador, our new ambassador, and the other dignitaries from the Association of Ghana Industries and elsewhere. Of course, we cannot do this without mentioning the regional minister. Remember his particular interest in sport and his particular interest in the university. So he is a very strong ally and part of our network, and we are very grateful to him. We are also grateful to all of you who have been here. The director of HR representing the registrar was here earlier on. We have various members from Mr. Kuma is here from ICT. We have people from quality assurance. We have faculty, and then we have students and others. We are very grateful. I believe that the day has been very fruitful. You have heard from various speakers, and we have learned a lot from financial security and the importance of, learning the discipline of how to keep money. I always tell people that I can have 10 cedis in my pocket for 2 weeks, and you will never know, because I know how to keep it. And so perhaps if I put it in the bank, I'll get an extra 50p on it. That is a wiser way of doing it. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just giving you ideas. Anyway, so it's been a pleasure. And as a university, we are very proud to be holding this forum. And we know that it has become an annual event and we'll continue to do that. And we believe that with the help of our ambassador, we can widen our network and be able to make inroads into other areas. To the students, I want to believe that this is some motivation for you, and we will continue as a university to work hard to support you and to provide the necessary infrastructure and other amenities that you need. In the earlier remarks, the Vice Chancellor talked about facilities, laboratories, and equipment and things like that. We hope that people out there who can help us will come to our aid. And I don't want to put too much pressure on our ambassador, but I'm sure he's taking notes of all these things. And for the AGI, you are wonderful partners. You heard what was discussed about the difficulty with engaging with industry, because when industry cannot see the numbers, what is in it for me, then it becomes a problem. But we believe you're going to take this back there to say that sports and exercise is an area for investment. They are investments. When the Akosombo Dam and the Tema motorway was built, Nkrumah made a speech, and he was upset and angry because he said that Ghanaians, when they overthrew him, they said he had wasted our money on all these projects. And then he described them as fools because he said they are investments. And today, as we reflect, we know that is true. It's the same for sports and exercise. And so on that note, I want to thank you all for coming. And please continue to spread the news everywhere and anywhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof, for that wonderful remarks. Thank you. So now we'll call on Ms. Paddy Mayor Asha to give us the vote of thanks. And then Dr. Divan Elikofi will give us a closing prayer, and then we'll come to an end of our program.
The Regional Minister, Distinguished Vice Chancellor, Pro VC, the Registrar, Deans and Directors, University Leadership. Thank you so much. I think you can all agree with me that today has been an inspiring, remarkable, and memorable occasion. And today I stand here with great enthusiasm and deep gratitude for coming and joining us today as we commemorate the International Day for Sports for Development and Peace. That sport is not just victories and medals, but then also a language for unity, peace, and harmony. So we would like to thank God Almighty, first of all, for... We'd like to thank God for a successful day, for giving us life and a successful occasion. We'd like to thank the leadership of the university, the Vice Chancellor for her support, the Regional Minister for his thought-provoking address. Thank you for honoring us and putting us on the spot. Thank you to our media partners for helping to amplify our message to the nation and beyond. To our organizers and volunteers, we thank you for your precision and your efforts into this program. You didn't just plan the program, but then you created an experience for everyone. To the panelists, the attendees, and everyone here, thank you for your engagement, your commitment, and participation. And as we leave here, we should not just remember the day, but also remember the messages heard over here. I stand here to say, Akpenami.
Thank you very much. Before the closing prayer, please, our dear students, when we close, stay behind. Let's rearrange the place for exams. We beg you, don't run and leave us. We beg you.
Our students are very good. They will stay behind and do the needful. Am I right? Thank you very much. Shall we please be on our feet and pray? Shall we pray? Ebenezer, we are grateful unto you. We ask that you be with us. You will direct this program and keep us with energy to the end. And we want to say we are grateful for doing exactly that. May your name be glorified, Lord, in Jesus' name. We thank you for the lessons learned. We thank you for the wisdom of the speakers, the panelists, the presentations. We thank you for the support that all the people have given to make this program a success. We pray and ask that even as we go back, your Holy Spirit will guide us, grant us journey mercies to our various places. We ask that the lessons we have learned today, will put them into practice by your grace. And we ask that those who are willing to support us, the ambassador and everything, our Lord, you shall guide them, that as they go out there to project the school, your Holy Spirit will guide them. They will find favor with God and men in Jesus' name. That when all is said and done, we shall say of a truth, this is the doing of the Lord, and it is marvelous in our eyes. We thank you because we believe and we know you have heard and you have answered. For in Jesus' name we have prayed, and the people of God say amen. Thank you very much. You can take this.